Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Just loading up here. We do have the CPI news today. Is it CPI or PPI? I always get them mixed up, guys. PPI. It's PPI today. I'm going to go and grab the links first. Copy. All right, so it looks like at the start here that we are risk on. So we had a bit of a move up the end of the session last night, and I believe that that was because the report that Donald Trump has even more tariffs in waiting. Let me just double check here. Trump slams Germany and NATO said it's totally controlled by Russia. Yes, Dow set to drop nearly 200 points after Trump threatens new tariffs on 200 billion in Chinese goods. Okay, so we had a strong move up, and now in this session, it's moving down. So it appears to me that people are positioning themselves short for the PPI. That's the assumption that we're going to go off of. So if the PPI ends up being higher than expected, the downside is somewhat more limited. Okay. So if the PPI comes up less than expected, then I'm just straight up buying it. That's my strategy. Okay. Let's check Bitcoin here. It's still around 63. My neck is a little jacked up today. I don't know what it did, but it, like, while I was there in the shower, it decided that it no longer was happy. Me. I need to get my traps to relax. Futures are much more lively today, that's for sure. Decent amount of liquidity, but we're moving. It's going to be a trading day today because you get this combination of significant news and the trade war stuff going on. So it looks like they want to come down though. See if they go for it. I'm going to just let it do its thing. I don't want to take a trade in front of the PPI, so I'm going to eat a little bit here and talk to you guys in a second.
gain of 0.2% on that month over month. But with the tariffs now in play, again, pipeline inflation, which is one of the fears, will start to monitored more. So we'll keep an eye on that. That was from T Securities. But in terms of what we're expecting, then, quick look, we're looking at month over month PPI up 0.2%, 0.5, the range flat to 0.3. Year over year, seen at 3.2 versus 3.1, the range 3 to 3.3%. Ex-food and energy, we're looking at a 0.2% month over month read for June, up from 0.3, range 0.1 to 0.4. Year over year, seen at 2.6, up from 2.4, the range 2.4 to 2.7. Just hearing there are Wang at the moment, the Vice Minister, Commerce Minister, suggesting they were surprised by the US moves and have no choice but to defend themselves.
They were surprised, huh? Well, then you're stupid because he told you that he was going to do it. I don't blame him. I just don't understand why they don't believe him. He's been planning on doing this his whole effing life.
Apparently, China wants to try and find a way to de-escalate this trade conflict.
That would be a good idea.
China looking to find ways to de-escalate this trade conflict.
That would be a very good idea. That's what you should have done like 6 months ago, dude. Okay, so they're still selling it.
Up 0.3%, slightly higher than forecast. Year over year, 3.4%. Month over month, ex-food and energy, 0.3%, 2.8% year over year. Elevated pipeline inflation being seen there via the data out this morning.
Okay, so that was about what I expected. They sold it, but because people were already short, it was limited.
From 0.2 expected for that month over month.
Higher than expected, and because it was higher than expected and people were already positioned for that, the downside is limited because there's not as many people to actually sell. In fact, we might even actually see us go above the news price now, back up to 07 as people cover. So I'm kind of gonna wait to see how they unroll this. I mean, it could continue down, so we got to keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated by the trade war thing because obviously it's not good for the economy, and I just don't think that these people are taking this seriously enough. So I apologize if I make stupid comments about it. It's just like, what are you morons thinking? Yeah, maybe you should de-escalate it. Yeah, maybe you should have done that 6 months ago instead of going, yeah, he's not gonna do it. Good grief. He's been thinking about doing it his whole effing life. You don't think he's going to do it? He's going to do it. And if they hit back with more to respond to his 200 billion, he'll add more.
The biggest move we've seen since November 2011. Some flow here. You see the 122 Treasury calls, September Treasury calls. Made 8 on 5,000. 5,000.
Okay. So that tick down had 4,000 on it, and now they're hitting it, and there's an iceberg there. So that I'm a little bit weary about. That looked to me like a potential lure. This could be a reversal spot. Oh, good point. Okay, so what I'm seeing is they touched to the high of the day. There was a lure here. There was some absorption at 050. And then we ticked up. We had a strong tick up. When they hit it, they absorbed some. So I'm seeing some potential buyers here. What I'd like to see is this 05 hold as well, and then take out this offer. Okay, so the 05 did not hold and went offer. And came back up, and they're able to hold the bid. And they're able to hold 2. Now we should see them hit back at the 05 half. It's 5 years going to be critical here too. A little bit of absorption there. Possible iceberg out 15 half. And then the 5 year. Okay, yeah. We're hitting back. Somebody's buying there. I think I was a little early on this. Hmm. Okay, I took a -1 on that because when we came up through the 05 half, there was an iceberg there, so somebody is still sitting on the offer. And even though they bought through it, somebody immediately sold it, so we'll get out. It looks like the seller's not done it or ready to like unwind, so we're not getting the move back up that we want. I don't think that this is a good place to sell it, though. It looks to me like somebody is trying to pressure it down further, and it could be a lure. So we're just gonna to wait here and see if it gives us a long opportunity again. The big order at 035 is not is fairly new. No, they're just not getting them to hit 04 half. Hmm. Okay, so 420 hit 05 half and it pulled. Well, when they ticked back up there, there was a pretty good flip in the book for sure. But I don't want to be taking that unless I see. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I want to see some evidence that somebody is sitting there getting filled because I feel like that if there's a big buyer here, he's not going to start taking it out until he gets his orders filled at his price. And if he's sitting down here at three half, what happened? Wasn't the big order at 03 half at one point? It was. So if he was sitting here at 03 half and isn't getting filled, that might be the pivot though. They may have just not made it. But if it takes off here, then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for a small pullback and take it there. That offer seems to be pulling a little too easily. I mean, it's not like pulling 1800 isn't necessarily a huge deal, but like for only 7 contracts to be going through and the way that the 5 year is and everything, that just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, well they bought it up and they bought it down and they stack a ton on the offer. Yep. So I was right to be suspicious there. Okay, now look at the way the offer is stacking now. They really are trying to coerce it lower and they're not getting it. So there it is again at 06. Same price. Or offer pulls too easily. Offer pulls too easily, and there's an iceberg there. And then they immediately hit back when it goes bid. Okay, now that right there might have been what I'm looking for. Okay. Good, and I like how much was on the bid, at least initially. They did hit it back, and it's not stacked up too much. I'd like to see that get over 2. But so far I'm seeing what I want to see. 16, 18 is okay. If we do get the tick up, I think you could see a little bit of a chain reaction, so we could get a good trade out of this if it works out. I like the potential in this one. Not quite doing what we need yet. If it went offer again, that would probably still be within acceptable parameters. But not if 05 goes offer. 05 should not go offer. Okay. So pretty big offer. They just dumped on that when they went through. This thing right here, the 5 here. You see that 38.51 when we ticked down that showed up? That's unusual. Want to see this? This is probably going to tick back up. If they tick back up, how much pulls there in the 5-year? Nope. Okay. I really wanted to see a tick up in the 5-year there to see how it reacted. We could still get a tick up in the 5-year, I suppose. Okay, so there's the tick up. I thought so. Okay, we just got a pretty good. We're just gonna wait.
Wall Street Journal story. China is said to consider other ways to retaliate against the US. They're considering delaying the approval
Oh, come on.
measures.
Okay, interesting.
So we've seen a flush lower in dollar yen, come up from 111.20. And
Was not fast enough there and missed an exit. Essentially, is what just happened. I want that, at least. I am going to ask John Grady about that one, man, because man, I want to know it. I would really like to know what his opinion on that was. Did they know or what? Because that was crazy. I might be asking for too much here to get +4. It looks like 0.6 is the balanced price. Yep. So I'm gonna let it tick up one more time, and if not, I'm just gonna take that off. I did not exit that one very well. Okay, well, it was 157. You could potentially hold here, but I don't like to try and do that anymore. When I see a price get balanced like that at 06 half, that's where I take it. So it's a shame that I didn't get like 08, but you know, I clicked it right after it went offer and they didn't hit it again. I should have just hit out on a move like that. They're not going to come back on you. So I really should have managed that better. But I mean, we still got +2, so I think that's a lot better than what I've been doing. And I really think, well, there you go. Look at that. So is this big offer going to show up again at a 157? Let's see. It does not. Yep. I mean, that could have gone up a lot more, but, you know, I was playing it right. It was just that when it down ticked, I should have taken it off at like 07 half. So I should have taken +4. And then sitting there, putting the order in and waiting for it to come back was just a dream. Because I could have gotten like 07. It was there at 07 for a long time, and I could have gotten that. Well, there's a tick lower.
Just picking up from Fitch, trade war could dampen growth for US transportation infrastructure.
No. Really? Woo, what was that? Uzi finally a normal day. And hi, Skylar Reeves. So just again, for you guys, as of late at least, I've been trying to not focus as much on the chat. And just stay focused on the order flow. And of course, when I get a break in the flow, or, you know, if there's a reason that I don't think it's going to go anywhere, then maybe I'll go in and answer questions. But if you could, you know, you just put your comments in there in the chat, whether you think I'm stupid or if you have questions. And when we get to the end, at about 10:30 Eastern time, I'll go back through the comments and I'll always read all those and answer them. So, boom. They only made a new low there by 1 tick, so I'm not ready to take a long here yet, and I really do need to see somebody step in. But I mean, gosh, it was a we were expecting that maybe we could get a reversal there, and then you know, then the news came in. So I don't know if that offer there was really there to be trying to push people in, or if it was a spoof and we read it right and predicted the news is. I don't know. I have to ask somebody else about it. We'll tweet to John Grady with the video and see what he thinks. That O5 half seems really balanced, so I feel like it's price acceptance there again. And I mean, since we did have a move higher and that got rejected, you know, there is a possibility that they take this lower. It's kind of impossible for me to say which way this is going to go at the moment. And as long as it's here in this O5 half area, I don't think I want to trade it because it's built up some volume here. Well, they're making it look like it could maybe break out of this range now and try another push up. Okay, so it did go bid at 06. Nothing's hit 6.5 yet. I'm sure that they will though. And of course the 6.5 offer is pulling like way too easily. I'm gonna erase this highlight because we're not seeing any more fishy business at 15 3/4. When that spike happened, did the E-mini react? It did. The E-mini went down when that happened. And even though the treasuries have came back completely, the E-mini has not. I think that's an important thing we should note. Something that perhaps makes the long trade here not look as good is that the E-mini hasn't. Well, maybe it does make it look good because maybe that's where the E-mini is going to recover, and that's going to push us. Well, that's, yeah. So the E-mini hasn't come back. It would have to go back to 284. So if it does come all the way back, then you might get a new low here in the treasuries. If it doesn't, and it's going to go lower, then we can get the reversal. But so since we don't know what the E-mini is going to do, but they do appear to be correlated a little bit. See, they tick down a little bit in the E-mini, they're ticking up a little bit here in the 5-year. We want to wait. Probably at this point, it's probably better to wait for a spot where you know, the trade looks good on both sides. Like, I'm pretty sure that the E-mini is at a pivot, and I'm pretty sure that the 10-year is at a pivot. And I can see the order flow in the 10-year going the right way, and this and that. Now that also means we got like, what, 20 minutes till the equities open. So we may just stick around here for a little bit. It may not be good trading until the open. I'm really tempted to take a trade. Like, I'm feeling a little FOMO, like they're gonna go up and test that VWAP again, but this isn't a spot to make a trade, I don't think. Yeah. So we gotta be careful here because it looks like at the moment it really looks like that the E-mini is gonna go below the VWAP and possibly sell, and the ZN is gonna move back up to perhaps the 07.5. Which by the way looks a little fishy. I'll highlight it here for you guys. 89.14 seems a tad suspicious. Well, I mean, it does look up, but it's awfully slow now, isn't it? I'm feeling pretty good today. Like, you know, we made a good read. It's unfortunate that I didn't take the profit correctly and only got +2 off of it, but that's okay. And I did have a short trade, or I did have another trade that didn't happen, but was still okay. I got out, you know, the right time, I think, and I think that was an okay trade that just didn't work out. And then, you know, I was tempted, or I was thinking maybe we should be taking something else, or at the very least, I was feeling a little FOMO. I still feel a little FOMO, but I resisted that urge, and we did end up getting rangy action that I'm glad I avoided. So, and add to that, you know, the previous 2 days in the week were profitable too. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Of course, we need to be much more efficient and kind of extend these. Like, we need to get more out of these winners, but, you know, So far, we're doing a lot better. My reading of things, it seems to be much more what's the word? It seems like there's a little bit more wisdom in the trade selection. Yeah. Okay. Well, now there's some acceptance of that 06 half. Notice that the big order moved up. It's now here. There's still a lot there at 07.5, but it moved up, it ticked down, and it moved down. I wonder if that 9 is just some robot expecting, maybe not necessarily expecting, but thinking, hey, maybe he must be long, and he's thinking, well, you know, if we get a 2-tick spike up, I want out. And that's why it's sitting there. I have seen things like that happen where I was pretty sure that that's why it was doing that. But it's just a theory.
Picking up from pro-Brexit, Mog is proposing amendments to the trade bill that's called on that more
5 minutes till the E-mini opens, so I'll probably see some action.
Comments now from Bank of England's Deputy Governor Woods saying getting EU to match the UK measures to ensure continuity of financial firms' operations after Brexit is a bit of a sore point. Just recap at those comments again from Bank of England's Deputy Governor Woods, commenting on getting the EU to match UK measures ensuring continuity of financial firms' operations, albeit after Brexit, saying is a bit of a sore point.
Okay. So we got to tick up. The big order has disappeared. I don't know what that means. Maybe it shows back up here at 07.5. Okay. Well, I'd have to say that that was a long, but not necessarily a long that I wanted to place, so it's okay. I would really like to see it come down a little bit here now, though. Like, I'd like to see it come back to the 05 so we could buy it. Which probably means that it's not going to give it to us. Here in ZF did show, I mean, that was kind of what I wanted. But as I was sitting there watching it and the way that the action went and stuff, I didn't really see a clear place to take it. And I had kind of turned off anyways, so I don't know. Okay, here comes the E-mini. What they gonna do? Looks like the initial move was lower and absorbed, and now they're testing higher. Okay. I noticed a little bit of a change there, but then there's an iceberg at 07. There goes the E-mini. Now the E-mini is going to completely retrace the news spike, I think. Okay. Did go offer. Want to see them hit that 06 half, but I don't think that this is something that I would want to take short. Not that you can't make money off of it, it's just kind of picking and choosing which moves that I think I would be able to play correctly. This pullback one, I don't know. I feel like I could take it short and have them come back in my face, especially if there's news again, you know, that could come back up, that could buy really strongly. So I really don't want to play the short side. Well, they're absorbing at 06 halves as well. And I would really like to see it below.
From Steinhoff is to start consent process for debt restructuring deal.
I'd like to see it below 06 half before I start buying it. I think that to buy it, it needs to be, yeah, below 06 half. Buy it maybe at 5 or 5 half. Now the E-mini on this whole move up has created bubbles. Let me show you. See the bubbles? So some pretty big absorption on the long side, but the buyers are still pushing it.
Small from Bank of England's Woods thinks the EU view that action not needed on contract continuity of derivatives after Brexit is wrong-headed.
Of course. The whole international posturing headlines that we're seeing today seem awfully childish and dumb to me. Oh, they oppose that. I'm so surprised. I'm so glad that they put out a press release so that we know that. Because I would have thought that they would think it's just perfectly fine. Good grief. Okay, there they took out the 6. And they took it out with not a lot of volume, so that is definitely not our buy price.
More UK political news, more from that Rees-Mogg story, saying to propose amendments in a bid to show strength. Brexit backers have added amendments to the bill due for debate next week, saying to propose amendments to the next Chequers plan.
So I have my eye out here for a bid that pulls too easily. I want to see a bid that pulls that isn't justified by the volume.
Contract continuity post Brexit.
You need to turn him down a little bit. He's too loud now. Okay, so there's one that they traded through it. So that's not it either. Because I want to see the bid pull. I want to see the bid pull, and then the volume hit it, and iceberg. Or conversely, I want to see another offer that is more than it should be. This 07 half is still doing something interesting. Okay, so they did push back at 05 half. 05 half went bid again. So this may be a place that you could see it. Nope.
So from UK Trade Secretary Liam Fox, Chequers agreement, a credible offer for the movie.
So E-mini did come all the way back up. E-mini came all the way back up, and Treasuries are back where they were.
Recognition from financial services has been consistently negative.
Okay, so here's one that I think is a little suspicious. Let's reset the DOM. Okay. So they took it, but there wasn't an iceberg underneath of it. 05 is where we might see it. I think below 05 is where it gets kind of...
Trade Secretary Fox thinks it's possible to negotiate an independent trade policy.
After 05 is when I start thinking maybe they're going to make a new low, which they could totally do, because the E-mini could decide that they're just going to buy and retrace the whole news move and go all the way back up to 2790. And if that happened, I think that the Treasuries would have to go lower. Okay, so that right there seems suspicious. Yeah. You notice that they had to hit it twice to get it to go bid. And then when it did hold the bid, they sold it again.
I was getting reports now on Twitter via currency the China said approval of
China deny approval of mergers. That doesn't seem like a.
And US equity news via CNBC that the likelihood of a Comcast offer for Fox assets is likely lower now.
I'm not so sure that's a big deal or not. Can't merge with Chinese companies. I think the Trump administration might actually consider that a win because they felt like that they were too tied to Chinese businesses, you know? I feel like when we went long and we got that news spike that we caught the big piece of news, and that had we taken the full 5 ticks or whatever, that I would have that I should have just called it there. Like, well, maybe not should have just called it there, but I think that some market participants may have just called it there, because I don't really see people like trying to make a move, trying to do a trade. All I see is it just kind of ranging here, and I do see this strong resistance now above us, filling in, trying to push us lower, and so I don't like the short side, but if we take the long side.
I'm away now till we get the Bank of Canada's interest rate decision for July. Widely expected it to be a hike by 25 basis points to 1.5%. Market is almost certain that the Bank of Canada will hike rates. With the US market pricing in a 96% chance of higher rates, has steadily risen since the Bank of Canada Governor Plus spoke on June. Likelihood fell as low as 58%. Assuming a hike, the intrigue will be about what the Bank of Canada signals going forward. The analysts are talking about a dovish hike, but market pricing leaves open the possibility of a hike before long. Let's pick up on a note now from Bank of America, expecting the Bank of Canada hike 25 basis points to level out rate target at 1.5%. Also expecting the Bank of Canada to leave the door open to further hikes. This for hike in July is straightforward. Inflation is above targets, indicating labor markets are tight, and the US Federal Reserve continues to hike with a hawkish tilt. The risk is for the Bank of Canada to surprise by remaining on hold, but the chance is small in their view.
Well, I wanted to buy it at somewhere around 05 half, and we could have bought it there, but I just did not see something strong enough to make me want to take a trade there. So I think we're just gonna watch this, and maybe we don't take another trade today. I think I'm gonna wait until 8 to see what the Bank of Canada says, to see if they react to that, and see if there's an 8 to 8:30 move that we've been getting.
Currently speaking to Chancellor Merkel at the NATO meeting, saying the relationship is very, very good. I believe trade will increase with Germany.
Oh, well, that's good. Anyways, maybe we get to the 8 to 8:30 move, but at the moment, I think we need to just watch it for the next like 10 minutes or so. Well, I like that comment that Trump comes out with, but of course, we know that that's exactly what he's going to say, because anytime that he asks about how's the relationship with this person or this person, he's always like, oh, it's really great. Even with Canada, he said it was really great, but we know, of course, they're not even negotiating, and that the relationship right now is total crap. Oh, that's right, there's a 10-year auction today, too. Type here. So a little interesting thing
now until we get the Bank of Canada's interest rate decision, again expected to hike 25 basis points to 1.5%. Up on another note now from CIBC, all likely Governor Plus will opt to nudge interest rate quarter point higher, given that the second quarter looks to see a rebound in after excessive appointments. While markets are already well braced for that, there's a lot of uncertainty on the policy path thereafter.
So something I think Keith might come in later and point out to us is this right here. When we were at the 05 half, there was a bunch of size kind of showed up below us, but then they didn't go for it at all. So that was maybe there was a reversal signal there that I just missed. And I'm not, see this 0070 at one point was like 1,000, but now you can see that it's kind of dissipated, and now it's all this. See?
Also in just under 10 minutes time as well. At the same time, we'll be getting US wholesale inventories for May, the final reading month-to-month, expected to be unchanged at 0.5%, with the wholesale trade sales month-to-month expected at 0.5% against par of 0.8%. The range there for the wholesale sales, that's the 0.2% to 0.8%.
You know, we have been below the overnight low almost the whole session. So that's an interesting thing to note. And just reading more comments from Donald Trump about trade wars and stuff. Really hope that I mean, Donald Trump's not going to back down. Let's just put that out there. He's been wanting to do this, and he believes really strongly in it, and I think that he will. He could totally throw the economy into a recession, and still be completely okay with that, because he wants the trade to be fair, and he thinks that it's more important in the long run for the trade to be fair. So I really hope that the other world leaders just, step back and say, hey, let's just do the right thing and bring down our trade barriers, China should de-escalate and make a deal, and I think that Germany and Canada should get rid of their auto tariffs. It sounds like maybe Germany is talking about maybe they have to actually do it. But, I really hope, because if they don't, it could be really ugly, Okay, well, I think that there was a potential buy there. Happened too fast for me to take, but the 5-year is sitting there at that 157, and it's looking weak, and so they might be spoofing and trying to get long here in the 5-year. You notice all these two. Oh, okay. The 30-year held the bid. It looks like they're a little bit out of sync. We're getting some down ticks where these ones don't follow and stuff, but
Bank of Canada. Final note now from Treasuries expecting the Bank of Canada to hike interest rates today. What comes next? Bank of Canada signals dollar. They think the trade tensions and sidelines back trade, with dollar CAD likely higher after the
they wouldn't have minded getting long at 05 half there. Well, except for the news, so the timing's probably not right, but I mean it's gone bid, it's holding. It's a good look if you're long 05 half.
1 minute.
Well, good tick up. This is still kind of within the range, so maybe just take one. Like if you were in that, we take one, get out for the news, see what happens, maybe we buy back in again. So,
Like gradual approach guided by income data, monitor responsive tariffs on growth and expected to be modest. Will monitor capacity and pressures impact of trade larger than increasing its second quarter GDP 5% growth to 20 behind core measures of operating at capacity, while CPI inflation expected 5% back to 2%, estimating underlying wage by 2 points. Black household spending dampening
okay.
tightening and while the Canadian dollar is broad BSU concerns about trade action. Investment is growing in response to capacity pressures. Trade tensions are weighing on investment, helping them by 24 basis points. Will continue taking
Nope.
approach guided by responsive effective tariffs on gold that are expected to be
We just got ran over.
month coming at 0.5%, sales at 2.5% month power advised.
I was kind of curious because I saw it there. I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, we can get along here," and we got the fill, and they kept hitting it. So I'm glad that I was only able to take -1 on it. At Rogan, we will see the dollar depreciating versus LIRA. I don't know what that is. Soon. Okay. That's kind of a really bizarre thing for a central banker to be saying, don't you think? Making a market prediction like that, like our Fed president would never make a prediction like that about what the currencies are going to do. Maybe zero. It's from Zero Hedge. Maybe their summary of it isn't accurate. So now this bid is looking weaker than it should. Pulling in orders going through. The 5-year ticked down. In retrospect, the place that we took that trade at 06 was a really bad entry, being at the top of that range. Also, when we look at the cumulative delta, I didn't really ever try and take it long. The E-mini is moving up. Problem is that as soon as you think that it's like time to buy, it's gonna stop and turn around. Noticing this cumulative delta here in ZB is quite a lot. I only see 2 800 prints, but that just doesn't seem right to me. And the size has now moved down with us. Yeah, I don't think that last trade that we took that was a 1-tick loss, I don't think that we had a real actionable signal. I mean, it did the thing. It did the thing that we would look for on a reversal where it kind of absorbed and stuff. but the overall picture didn't really support it, I don't think. So I really shouldn't have taken that trade. Now I'm seeing 1330 traded at 08 in the bond. So enough to actually create a bubble. Just also point out that the pulling is still, it's the offers that are pulling still. Oh no, wait, I take that back. It's the bits that are pulling recently. It's gone back and forth. But not in the bond that's been pulling the whole way. Well, at least for the last 30 minutes. This is a lot here. Oh wait, it doesn't seem. And think of times where seeing stuff like this would make me want to go short and break the low. But I'm just really skeptical about that support breaking, or if it did break it, coming back. See the volume still coming through in the bond. I'm just gonna highlight this here. Right there. 1736. Here's this big offer that's been following us down. And now we see it a little bit in the 5 year. This one seems a little bit too nuda though. Like, too obvious that a lot of people would be trying to buy it here. You could buy it and get flushed down lower to like 03. Okay. There's still somebody sitting on the offer. Notice the ZF ticked up here, but it didn't hold the bid, and that's what's causing the buying here. And now there's buying in ZB, and there's also an iceberg on the other side as well. Well, we aren't seeing, I mean, that buying there is probably some of the strongest buying delta we've seen today. So there's that. Offers still holding pretty good. There's 5,000 traded into it and it's still 26.77. Making me sleepy again, guys. Okay, so there it is again. So if we stop here at 0.45 and turn around, that's a higher low and we can go long. But at the moment, it seems like that it seems like that person is definitely there making that trade, but then there's also somebody sitting on the offer and saying nope. And we didn't really get much movement off of the Bank of Canada news, did we? But now we're in the counter trend period. So in the next 15 minutes, we could get a buy. Okay, so they're hitting it again in ZB, and they pushed through it at 08, and they went offer. Wait, went offer. ZB touched 040. Okay, ZB finally takes a new low, and it's 2 ticks lower. Oh, it's not 2 ticks lower, it's just 1. It's 1 tick lower. It's a 1 tick lower. Okay, the way that they're selling this at 04.5 is and there's another potential buy, but I'm not seeing support for it in the other two at the moment. I still feel sleepy. So you can see there's the pressure, and there's your iceberg, and that's your potential buy. But then when you look at the 5-year, that's not what was happening. They weren't absorbing. They were already through it in the 5-year. Now the 5-year still has some. They're 1 tick off of the low. Let's see if they tick this low 14.7. Okay. So now that's equal to the low of the day in the 5-year. Now they're all sitting on lows. Well, ZB is below lows, isn't it? Okay. Of course it is, guys. Doesn't mean that they shouldn't be paying. They should be spending 2% of their GDP on NATO spending, and they're not.
Prior drop. Right.
Stand up. Wake myself up. Thank you. It's just like common sense comments. This stupid game that they play. I think it matters. I think people are sick of it. People on the Donald are talking about the meeting, and they're saying that one of the guys said that last year was the biggest increase in defense spending in a generation, and Trump asks why last year, and the guy said because of your leadership, and then Trump stares at the camera to make sure that I got that. Well, they're now sitting with quite a bit at 04.5, and this could pull and go through. And I'm wondering if we should take the, well, I don't know. So the problem that I have with this one is like, how much of a cascade is this going to cause? Because you'll look at the cumulative delta, they've been short all session. So if this goes lower, it's not like there's tons of people to stop out or anything. I think that you could see something that seems really exciting at first, but then, doesn't really go. And I'm also still seeing this just massive amounts of volume selling and being absorbed at 07 in the bond. Okay, so there they traded through it.
of point.
Yeah, we can turn him off, actually. So I'm thinking now, I'm just looking at, what if we had been looking on the short side? And the things that I see here are like, okay, here was an absorption that failed. And that was, here was an absorption that failed. That was the one that we took, right? We bailed. So then they came down. And now here again, we're getting absorption. So really, this is like a this seems to me like that from here, this was basically a bubble down move. This actually could go a little bit now. Now I'm seeing that the 5-year has some room to go. Yeah, it sucks. We should have been short through some of that. It was at 04 that I was saying, I was thinking, well, you could put a stop limit, but then I said, yeah, but is there really going to be follow through on it? And I think I was wrong, because when you look in the 5-year, there was actually some big buying that I missed and that needs to unwind, and that's going to push us down more. So now you get to like yesterday's close before the news 025. The E-mini is pushing higher. And it's a really difficult thing to take short because they're trading 7,000 at every price. Look at that. Now this one is a 10. And they trade through it. Well, how much more do we have to go? We probably have about 4,000 contracts more that have to puke in the 5-year. So 13.7 could be the pivot. That's the most absorption I've seen in the 5-year at 14. Okay, well, it's 8:30 and I've been trying to stop at that time, and we can't get a counter trend move. So when you look at this one, I don't know why it says 01, but you know, we had a good trade that was worth a lot more, and then we had 2 one-tick losers. We probably should be +2, but we screwed up a couple of times. But then really this short, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like, so this one right here I shouldn't have taken. Why was I seeing that much on the offer? I mean, like, look here, look here in the Vista. There was a big offer. They came up to it. It pulled for a second. It's still there. We come down. Liquidity fills in above us. There's this right here. So I'm just gonna highlight all this stuff right here, right? Then there's this right here, which is good for a temporary bounce. But then there's still, the liquidity is just kind of staying on top of it. And meanwhile, in the 5-year, you got these big orders down here. And see, here was the selling in ZB. That was the point that we could have gone short. You could have gone short 04. But like, how would you know that it's actually going to go through all of this? I'm not sure I could predict that. Even if I had been short, like if I had somehow gotten super lucky and had sold it short simply because we were under the VWAP and sold it at like the 07.5 or something when it failed to break the news price, you know? Yeah, I gotta take it off here, man. Like, probably, maybe, actually, well, not that one. You can take it off there. I don't know. That right there at 07 probably was a signal. That why is somebody buying right there and then they come one short, it's down. You could have shorted it at 6.5, and that would have been a really good trade. So I think we were looking for the wrong trade. But that was our day. But, you know, flat, it's okay. I still feel really good about this week. I mean, like, so we had a winner, and a break-even day. And the break-even day was really mostly just like a bad mistake. Okay, now look at that. Whoa. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. This seems like this should snap back a little bit, but it should snap back to like 04, half. I'm not sure that I want to buy. Maybe buy 03, but I don't think you can get filled there. And if you do get filled there, maybe that's not, I don't know. This is just, for us to absorb that much there and now be above it, and that bid holding is definitely good for a reversal. But I don't see the offers above us holding at all. I do see a little bit of a change in level 2 though. Like we're at least in a temporary pullback at the very least. Hmm. That iceberg there doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen, I think I've seen an iceberg where like it would be at 03 or 02 half and they sell into it and they break it. But I don't think that I've ever seen 10K sit on the offer after a move down. That does not make a whole lot of sense to me. The E-mini did pivot. They did pivot. You could have gone long. I didn't want to trade it because it's past 8:30. I don't know. Kind of interesting. That those big offers are still there, so I'm not even sure if you can really buy it here. You know, they're gonna maybe bring it back to 04 half, reject it, see if we make a higher low or something. I don't know. Either way, they're awfully difficult to read. I mean, through here. This right here, I made a good read. I'm really proud of that read. And then staying out of this. But now from here to this point, that was really hard to read. Like I had no clue that it was actually going to go lower and that it was going to go as low as it did. Really took me by surprise. And I mean, there was some signs for it. The best sign was that here in the 5-year, we came down. There's the higher low, but not as high as this, and lower high. And when you look at it, look, there's all these people long. Of course, they're going to have to puke. That appears to be what made the move and what I missed. But I don't know if I really could have taken a trade there off of that. So, tough call. Kudos to anybody that caught that one. I did not. I ended the day basically break even. I really wish that this move, that I had taken 5 or 6 off of it, and then just sat and watched it. And went down and be like, oh, okay, whatever. So that's fun. Tomorrow is CPI, so we should get trading again tomorrow. And we'll see what goes on with all this trade war talk. I think that a lot of the reason why some of this news is happening now is because Donald Trump is abroad. So we may continue to see news volatility into tomorrow. So I will see you then.